Man. All right, what we got to see right here?
Hold
Uh,
on, Peel.
I found this YouTube channel where they talk to their sons about being black in America, and I thought it was pretty interesting.
You want to talk about it?
I just wanted to see
Watch
what you guys think of like the kids' answers in there. The kids' answers, basically.
It's
You
another
could
30-minute
see the
off
innocence.
video.
Yes.
You could see it, like just drift off. You could see it, and it's like I don't necessarily know.
I don't
Yo,
know.
welcome
Love
back
is
to Belief
getting
in
louder.
Fatherhood. Today, I had a totally different video planned, but because of some things that happened, I feel like it was important to address some things with my children, and I wanted to bring you along for the conversation because it's a conversation that almost every black kid has with their parents. And this
Dog.
is really for
His
black
son got
audience on
his
this
head
channel,
so
right?
much, it
So,
makes no sense.
100%.
today we had the talk with the boys. My kids are
Sorry for people who watch this,
almost,
just
Rise
straight
almost
audio.
6, is 7.
Son got
And,
his head straight
because
up.
of some things that were happening with the media, and it's just been so prevalent with being accused for things just because of the color of your skin, or being killed just because of the color of your skin, or how people perceive you. They may take extra force or aggression. We felt like it was appropriate to have the discussion about anti-black racism in America. Now, my wife wasn't for this in the beginning, but once, as a matter of fact, I brought it up to her, and she was like, this is not fair. I don't want to do this. But after considering everything that's been happening and doing her research, she decided to come along for the conversation. I'm so glad she did, because she killed the conversation. So you're gonna watch a video, and it's gonna be hard to watch because it's awkward, and it's to the question, or them not knowing how to ask the question.
Good kid, right? Mm-hmm. What else do you know that you are a good kid, right? Mm-hmm. What else do you know is true about yourself?
That I like playing Nintendo Switch.
You do like playing Nintendo Switch. What about, do you know that you're smart?
Mm-mm.
You don't know that you're smart?
Mm-mm.
You are smart.
I'm not.
Why do you say you're not smart?
Because sometimes I follow on my brother's tricks.
Well, that doesn't mean you're not smart. That just means you are outsmarted.
But you still are smart. You have a thirst for knowledge. I love the way that you like to read. You are caring. Look,
Hey.
I'm trying to talk to you. You are caring.
Caring.
You always stick up for the kid that needs to be stuck up for. You are courageous. You are brave.
Unless there are bugs around.
There's so many things that are true about you, right? That we know this. You know those things about yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what Papa is trying to say is that people are going to see you, and without knowing anything about you, all they can see is that you are a good-looking black boy, right? But they're going to see the black skin, and for
But
some
are
people,
bad kids real?
bad kids are real. Bad kids do exist.
Bad kids, bad people. All
Yeah.
of them.
But
But let me finish.
But you're not a bad kid or a bad person, is what we're trying to say. But some people will see this color skin, and they will start to assume things about you. Do you know what that means? To assume?
They're gonna
Yeah.
guess.
They're gonna guess about your character.
Yeah. But what if I guess back, and what if they're doing bad stuff, and can I run them back to you guys and tell?
Of course, always.
You can always tell us.
Yeah. But what your papa is trying to say is that some people are going to see the color of your skin, and they are going to think that you're a bad person just because you're black.
But
Do you understand that?
why are they gonna think I'm a bad person?
That's because they're stupid.
My friends don't.
Your
No,
friends,
friends
do
don't.
not, because they know you.
Yeah.
They know all those things that we said about you to be true. They know that you're smart, that you're kind, that you love people, that you're courageous, that you're brave. They know
But
all those things about you.
but that's why we tell you not to talk to strangers, because everybody doesn't know you.
But a lot of people know you.
Right? They
Does
think.
that mean you're famous?
Well, it's not about being famous. And so basically, we make the video. The reason why people know who I am is because we make videos about what it is to be black. We make videos about black family. We're a black
And
family.
about dad.
And about dads. True. But people know me because we make the videos. If they didn't know me, they wouldn't care.
If you didn't make the videos, they wouldn't care.
Do you understand that we want you to be very smart about people you do not know? And that includes police.
Are police smart?
Some of them are, some of them are not. But
Well,
they do,
kinda.
but they do have badges and they do have guns. So you have to be smart around them. You can't trust everybody. You can trust your family.
Is there bad polices?
Yes.
I'm
What
go ahead and
kind
say it.
We
This
don't
is the
know.
moment this kid just got confused. I have to start asking.
You know, I had this moment when I watched Rugrats for the first time. I remember this moment.
Rugrats.
Yeah. So I remember Rugrats when like
I remember every episode. Of
it was the
Rugrats.
movie though. Like
What
when
movie?
like they
When
found
Dylan?
out. Huh? It was the movie with the orange tape. I don't remember which movie it was, but like they're in Paris or whatever, and like they like they're doing like karate and shit, and like I don't know why, but my cousin told me like someone passed away, and I'm like, what's that mean? And he told me what like death was, and he explained like being black to me all while watching the Rugrats movie, and I remember this exact face in this conversation, this exact same face in the conversation.
I don't know how he tied that in because Chucky's mom did die, but
Not Chucky's mom died, but like I went through all those thoughts because of the Rugrats movie, and like he explained all this to me through the Rugrats movie
it's crazy
and Rugrats.
because
So,
it's nuts. Because that look is the look that
Yeah.
you had as a kid. You can remember you had as a kid,
trying to just
and that's why it was just like, hold on, why are they having this conversation with me right now? Wait, hold on, let me tie
I'm
you
trying to
into
go
this.
play Nintendo.
Yeah, exactly. And then you be like, hold up. Yeah. There's something that just clicks all of a sudden.
Well, what do you think? What's going on, Rob? Tell me what's going on in Rob World.
I think they're having a pretty interesting conversation. I think I just thought the way they approached the conversation was really interesting. Like how I like how he dug into why he thought he wasn't smart.
That's fair. It was justifiable in his sense.
Yeah, as a younger brother, I truly understand it. Yeah,
I-
older brother just naturally gets you to go into stuff. I'll never forget some of the stuff my brother liked.
Fuck that. I was
He
always
got to.
why.
I'll never forget.
I always asked why.
Bro, there was times I can 100% be like, yo, I don't believe you. I told my brother, I don't believe you, but I'm still going to do it. Just
I'm gonna
because
check
you're
just in case. Just in case you right.
just in case.
Because I don't know the answers. No, like Tico was my older brother for the longest time. He'd be like, "Hey, hop in the dryer room real quick and you'll go fun." So I'm like, "Why? You do it." Let me see. I always be like, "Let me see you do it first." That's how I started cigarettes.
My brother would give me like completely different. He would be like one time, like the famous one in my family is like before dinner, before like a Sunday dinner, he was like, there's gonna be chocolate and cornbread. I was like, bro, there ain't gonna be no chocolate and no damn
But you was
cornbread.
gonna eat it just in case there was
So,
chocolate in that
I
cornbread.
went straight to this cornbread, bro. Cut into it, got into it. I went, ain't no chocolate. My whole family looked at me like, what are you talking about?
What's wrong with you? And Derek Ryan was like, I don't know what to talk about, bro. He crazy.
Still to this day, they know this shit too.
But what I wanted to know was what was the expectation talking to a almost 6-year-old about this topic? Like, I feel like,
I think they explain it more with the next kid.
yeah,
They
but
actually
I'm
explain
just,
what happened.
Well, I guess the question I will ask that lay back real quick is, at what point would you have this conversation?
I didn't get to finish my statement, but at almost 6 years old, having that conversation, I feel like is a little too early because, like, from what I've seen, I feel like most people don't really know who they are, know themselves till much later in life. But I feel like to have a conversation about being smarter about who you're around, and things like that can never happen too early. But I just feel like the overall and over-encompassing message of racism and being black in America at almost 6 years old is a lot to handle.
When you use
Don't
all this
you
time,
think?
like 10?
I feel like you would maybe have the mental capacity.
Because when, when,
10,
when,
11.
when did you first learn about slavery?
I think about 10, 11, but I didn't really understand. My understanding of slavery, I feel though, is different than the typical American child's understanding of slavery coming from where I came.
So what's your understanding of slavery?
I mean, I came from the country where free slaves went, so I knew about slavery day one, baby. Slavery is the worst possible thing that could happen from what I've been taught from my family because they're direct descendants from it. Like my grandmother's a first generation child of a freed slave that traveled to Liberia. So horror stories were passed down differently.
And straight up, them Liberians are smart for initially getting out of here. I would say.
But I don't know. I feel like even 10 might be. Granted, you have to get your kids prepared, and I understand the day of age we live in, but I just feel like, I don't know.
Exactly 100% how this conversation is about to go, but I will say,
I don't know, man. That's a
by the
tough
age
one.
of when you hit middle school, I gotta have.
I would say by eighth grade, you have to have, because at eighth grade,
Eighth
that's
grade
when
seems late.
That's
that's what I'm saying. Like deadline, like no matter what, going into eighth grade, because that's when I feel like you're big enough to be
We
seen
talking
as
about slavery in
potential
elementary
threat.
school, though. We
My
talking about
time
slavery in
Do
elementary
you
school.
though? Do
We
you
talk
really know
about
what
it.
I'm talking about?
You talk
Do
about
you
it.
really? Did you really understand in third, fourth, fifth grade what
You
slavery
probably don't
really was?
understand like the whole grand scheme
Like,
of things.
I'll be 100% honest with you. I'm a historian still to this day. Like we were just talking about some American gangsters in general, but I knew about slavery all the way up to like going back to like second, first grade. But the full capacity didn't hit me till I actually like watch a movie on it, and I'll be like, yo, this.
yeah, when you
That's
see
when you'll
it,
be like, that's when you be like,
was it
yo,
Roots?
like no, it could be anything.
I'm
Like
saying, what was your movie? Was it
So
Roots? 'Cause
honestly,
when they
Roots
show
is
Roots in sixth,
what maybe
seventh grade,
was what made it like
real.
it
yeah.
was like a run. It was like a run on them. It was like Roots all the way to Django to like it was a couple things where I was just like, yo, this is too
What's that
much.
movie called? Amistad or something?
I'm a spot, yeah.
Yeah,
when they're on the ship.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like all those movies though came out when we were except Roots came out when we were a little bit older and able to understand that stuff. But like, imagine seeing that movie when you were 6 years old. Like, you would not
But
understand.
here's the thing, LA. Do you know where the Martin Luther King Center is in Columbus? Or you still? I
I
don't know
do
if it's
not.
still there.
I do not. I did not. I did not
I
know
they
what it
used to
was.
have a Martin Luther King Center here in Columbus because my mom used to
Yeah.
drop me off there for summer camp and stuff.
Cause
So
summer camp.
yeah, so and they had like I think they had like a slavery. I don't want to say museum, but they had like
Yeah.
a slavery gallery, and they had
That's
like
the one in
Amistad
South
playing or
Carolina.
something. It was really nice.
Yeah.
I think that was a King Center. It was either the King Center or it was the Black History Museum down in like Cincinnati or something.
I think I was like 15, maybe like 14, 15. I think we're in ninth, maybe 10th grade. And for our family reunion, South Carolina, and we had a great time. But our family, like I said, being direct descendants from Liberia, we always do something educational with slaves or like where we come from and whatnot. But we went to South Carolina to one of the main export import ports, and they had a almost like a museum, and they showed like how things worked, and they had wax figures of slaves, and they had it in such detail, like
You okay?
from the ship to the port, and it was so lifelike. Even the smell was like they told you if you had a weak constitution, did not go on the ship, and I threw up from the stench from the barns in which they would be kept until they were bought.
Sick.
Like, and I was 14, 15, and I had cousins who were, second generations Americans, and they're out here, and they're like, bro, this shit's disgusting. Like, why are we here? I'm like, bro, you don't understand. Like, Like your great grandmother was one of these people,
Yeah.
and they went through what they went through to come to this point. And they were, some of my cousins were even older than me. And like I just don't know when is a good time. But like I said, 8th grade at that point, like you have to tell
I
them.
think learning about it is never too early, but learning the details of it is a little bit like because I don't know, bro. Like I said, I think I felt like the first person I learned from that time was Harriet Tubman. I learned that back in like first grade. I felt like it was first grade. And when I tell you, I just always read up on her, always like studied her. But there's things that you don't realize until you get a little bit older that you read in those books that you're
You
like,
sugarcoat that shit.
nah, not even sugarcoat. Like there was one point I remember reading when I was a kid before, like this is under the age of 10. I 100% remember reading, "Hey, she put a gun on another slave because he wanted to turn back." But you don't really understand the the mindset that slave was in of like, yo, we are going to get fucked up if we don't get back there.
Oh, are we talking about
Instead
Harriet
of
Tubman?
yeah, if we're instead of going back. That mindset is not something that you think of more so of her as the heroes. Like, no, you're not going back, which is it makes sense. Like, we're not going back. We're not going back. But at the same time, you don't put your mindset into the mindset of him, that person who that slave was, until you get older, and you be like, yo, he's not 100% wrong for trying to go back. He just shouldn't have did it at that moment. It was like it was too late. It was 100% too late. But you don't learn those things until you get older. You just see her as the hero. See what I'm saying?
I don't know. Like
That actually makes a lot of sense.
I just feel like in 2 years, if I have that same conversation with that child, I feel like he might latch on. Like you did see the light bulbs come on in his head, and he was like, "Okay, well, are there bad cops?" Like he's definitely having some heavy cognitive processes happening, but like
So with that also being said, here's my next question
I
to
don't
you:
know.
is as much as I like learned about Harriet Tubman, Martin Luther King, Sojourner Truth, George Washington Carver, um, George Carver, as much as I learned about them, I was very ignorant to the mindset of it was still going on today. And my mom even like, hey, you're kind of ignorant of what's going on today. So with that being said, it is kind of hard to just like read it and not like you reading it and like it's damn near a fairy tale. To the point you grow up and you're like, okay, it's not going on today.
If it never happened to you, you don't know what's happening, right?
So that,
What happens?
or you see it happen in the news now, social media make it so prevalent.
What the rapper say? Everybody tough till they stand in front of the judge. What the who said? What rapper said? That's a new rapper, but it's pretty much the same thing. Like everybody thinks it's all fun and games till the shit happen to you. But I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I saw like just personally I saw like the light leave the little boy's eyes like talking about it. And I don't like to see that in children. I don't know. Maybe I just like the innocence. But at the same time, that's not really fair to the child. So I don't know. I don't know what the right child time is. But my main question that I remember now was, what was the point of talking to him at this age? Was it just a primer conversation? Or are they going to maybe follow us up in a year and see his progress? Like, what do you think the point of this conversation with them at this age is? Because obviously they're not going to be able to, eagle eye around them at all times. They're not going to be able to outrun a cop if a cop wants to do something crazy to them. So, like, was this just a primer to see how they reacted for the views, or was this more of a genuine, hey, I want you guys to be safe and we're going to continue building on these, and this is the first block of that step?
A little bit of the first one, a lot of the second.
You think it's more of the second than the first, though?
More of the, I just want to protect my sons, but
fair.
But at the same time, it's also it makes us have the conversation of damn when would you have that conversation with your sons? Because you gotta have the conversation. That's not even a question. That's not even a question. You feel me? So if you gotta have the question, if you gotta have the conversation, when is the time to have the conversation with kids?
That's the first question. And then 13, 14. When
you were looked at as a threat by the age of 12.
Well, they're
one lady
8th
said
grade.
last week they see black boys 5 years older.
And that's exactly when I was like, hey, y'all need to stop fucking around. Like, y'all are seen as adults, bro. Like y'all need to figure this shit out. Like, yeah, your mama's white, but she can only do so much for you.
100%.
Feel me?
In general, parents can't do much for you. Bro.
All right.
And I tell them all the time, I was like, as long as you don't cost me no time, no money, or no fucking energy that's too crazy, I got you.
Right, that's what
They
putting
talked to
it.
their other son too. He's a little bit older.
How much older? Like 9?
I don't know, honestly.
Oh.
Good job, guys.
Well, he's got the
So,
Twitter.
mommy not gonna talk to you.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So, Theo,
Yeah.
what are some things that are true about you?
He got his head
Tell us
100%.
about yourself.
That's what I'm saying, man.
You're right.
Okay. That I do not get much sleep.
You do not get much sleep.
Okay.
I stay up
Okay.
in my room.
What about things about your character?
Yeah.
Like,
Me?
Some
Yeah.
qualities about you. Tell us some qualities about yourself. Like, one of the things that I love about you is that you are a really good caretaker. Like, when you,
Take
looking
care
out-
of Uzi.
yeah, not only Uzi, but you do a good job taking care of Anaya and Uriah as well.
yeah, yeah.
You're a good big brother. Remember the time in the ocean when the wave knocked her down and you picked her up and then you turned your body against the rest of the waves so that they wouldn't hit her?
How did I do that?
You don't remember
Instinct.
that?
Oh yeah, now I remember that.
You are protective of your brothers and sisters. What else is true about you?
Smart.
I answered that.
Handsome.
Yeah, also. And I like to ride my bike over the street. And
So we're not necessarily
What if
talking
you're
about the
able to put
things
your
that
children
you
on
enjoy,
YouTube,
the
though?
things that you like to
Like,
do.
that child's
We're
not
talking
consenting
about
to
the
be on
things
there.
that we know to be true about you.
How's he know in 10
That
years he's
you
not
are
going
a
to be
good
salty that he.
friend, that you are a good person,
That's
that
a
you're
hard
kind
question
and
there.
loving, and
That's
you
a hard
care
question.
about people.
When would you put your kids on YouTube?
You are.
You wouldn't?
You, the
Just make
thing
them
I
like
love about you
I
is
don't
that
know.
you
Like,
I
always
would, I would blur.
like I want
you see
to
them
focus
beyond
on the
what they're
topic, but I still am
showing.
feeling really gimmicky about this. I don't know. I feel like white people are loving this for some reason. I just feel some type of way about it. I'm not saying the topic is wrong. I'm not saying what they're doing is wrong. I'm not saying I want to do the same thing. I'm just
Say what you're trying to say. You
I
said
don't know
something.
what I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to decipher whether or not this is gimmicky or if this is real. Because I personally feel these kids are too young for this
So,
conversation.
for some background, like, I think, I don't even know how Rob stumbled upon this, but in general, I don't think he was watching no family uh, YouTube thing.
No,
I don't know
I was watching their videos, and he has, like he said, his whole channel is based around being a black father, just in general.
Does all his other videos have as many views as this video?
Let's find out.
I'm not trying to prove any points. I feel some type of way.
He has a video a week ago that did more than that video. Yeah, he's usually around that about, but he can get pretty high. He's great views.
He's got good views. Okay, maybe I don't know. Maybe it's that what I told you last week, that unconscious bias against black people that was embedded in us. Maybe that's what coming. Just can't fight. I don't know, but I don't know. I just feel like the
You think
life
it's
and the
exploitative?
joy. I just feel like the joys come out the little boy, and I don't know. I feel some
It's
type
not,
of way.
but it's a serious topic. It's not a
It
fun topic.
is. I know.
I think that's the thing we're getting hung up on a little bit more, is like, when is the time to have the conversation? But at the same time, you got to have the conversation.
I know. But look at this little angel, little booger butt.
Look, and here's the thing, bro. I'm 100% over here with you, bro. These two kids are like
They don't know what they're getting into. How you gonna shelter your children all life and then be like, here you go, boom, dropping one of Clue's bombs on you? Like, you got to ease them into this. You know,
they got the most joy in their face and their eyes. Like, these are like.
But maybe this is them easing them into it though, so I can't be too mad at it.
I think that's the thing. They're not
Maybe
hitting
that's what they just gonna ease them into it, and then in 10 years, baby, we'll get the final video. Like, our boys is ready for 18. They graduated, they educated, they know how to wrap it up. High fives. Like, I feel like that's what's gonna happen. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm gonna follow this channel. Who is this?
It's a great channel. I think you like it. It's called Belief in Fatherhood.
I'm gonna follow him. I'm gonna see
Oh,
what he
yeah,
got.
I'm
So,
I caught that at the last one.
did you? Did you hear the last part? I always slide that in there for my boys. That way they know.
Holy man. Yeah.